Over the past 5 or 6 years in the market, we've obviously seen the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, obviously rallying from the depths of the financial crisis to where we are now at all-time highs in all the major indices. Do you think that we're sort of in a new normal where that type of volatility is what we should come to expect, or is this simply a breakout from a long-term consolidation? I guess my main question is, do you think that type of volatility is here to stay and will continue through 2014 and beyond?
Well, you put a lot of things in a generalization, because in the last 2 years, people have been complaining there's no volatility, that we've been just grinding higher. So the question is, when does volatility come back, kind of like we saw in 2008, 2000, that area?
I guess it depends on what your time frame is. Intraday, you hear traders grumble on a trading floor that are very short term about a lack of volatility and that grind type of action, but the range has been very large in the S&P.
So you're saying almost like if investors come back now, and then all of a sudden, they feel like they're buying the top, are we going to be in for another financial crisis where a year from now we could be 400 handles lower? What
some people say is that it's a boom and bust cycle that we've found ourselves in because of monetary policy and deficit spending and things like that, is that the bigger the crisis, the bigger the response has to be from the Federal Reserve or from policymakers to mitigate that crisis. And then that gives birth to new bubbles and new excess and things like that. And then the bigger the crisis becomes after that, and it's sort of a cycle. That's what a lot of people think. Keynesian economics doesn't necessarily agree with that, but more the Austrian side does. So do you think it's a situation of a broadening formation where we're going to continue to get big corrections, big rallies, and that's just the nature of the beast?
Well, for the past 2 years, we've been in a very strong bull run. And if that changes, we're going to see it. This year, did we break the 200-day average, moving average once?
No, I don't think so.
We did not. Okay, so until we break the 200-day moving average and then hold below it, let all these people who think that we're going to have a boom-bust cycle, let them keep talking, because that's all they're doing. They're talking. They're trying to make headlines. Could we go through a 15% correction next year? Yeah, why not? But this year we had a few 4 or 5%, so things are going to change. But then you'll be able to measure it along the way. But if you sell into some strength and see a red dog reversal at the top, you don't need to worry about where the next correction is going to be, because it could be 4% like it was this year, or 5%, or it could be 8 to 12%. But we can measure it along the way using our tactics. But again, how old are you, John?
I'm 26.
Okay, so if you start investing in the S&P 500, put money every month, and we have a crash 2 or 3 years from now, which you're probably already doing, you're going to be fine. Because in 25 years or 30 years, whenever it is the time you're going to retire, you know what? That should be there for you. Same way it was there for the baby boomers if they didn't refinance their house 3 or 4 times, use it as an ATM machine, and have to pay off their credit cards because they wanted to keep up with the Joneses. But that's different. That didn't happen to everyone. If you want to create alpha and feel comfortable, which is a lot of people in our T3 Live community want to do, then we're going to see the trends and we'll see when they change. And so for every time it looked like the trend was going to change this year, it didn't. The trend held in there. So as soon as the trend changes and we see poor leadership, we see the Financials Act fall through, we see the home builders not back, we don't see money rotate, then you know what? You could even go from a 90% to 60% to 40% allocated, and then wait for that spot when things look better and stay out of the way. And you know what you could do also? You can make some money short.